What's up, y'all?
And Mike Curry.
How y'all doing?
We have another great show lined up today. We're set to go deep into the 2017 NBA Finals matchup, of course, between the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Golden State Warriors. We have LeBron passing Michael Jordan during the postseason scoring list, and we're going to talk about Game 1 Finals predictions. But before we get into sports news, we do have a very special guest lined up for us today. A Baltimore native who has made his mark in the food industry as a celebrity baker. Mr. Tavares Evans, also known as Mr. T, is the owner of the well-renowned Cake to a T, which has granted him the opportunity to bake cakes for top headline names such as T.I., Alicia Keys, and Drake. Not only does he have a passion for baking, but he has a passion for charity, kids, and his beloved Baltimore Ravens. So, Mr. T, thank you for joining us today. How are you?
Thanks for inviting me. I'm good.
Awesome. I'm sure Shane has a few questions for you to start. So, Shane?
Yeah, we're going to jump right in. Man. So, what got you started to go from just baking cakes to where you are now? Tell me about that.
Growing up, actually, my passion was I wanted to own a chain of barbershops. But my father was a bit of a dream killer growing up. So, by my senior year, he made me start working in a barbershop. And I just wasn't really ready for college. So I joined the Air Force. And I was in such a rush to get out of the house because I graduated early. I graduated at 17. And even waiting to go to the Air Force, my father said, what are you going to do, till you leave? I was slated to leave like late October of 94. And I was like, I'm going to chill here and work in the shop. He was like, no, you have to pay rent till you leave. So I called my recruiter back and said, hey, man, give me the first thing out of here. So he says, well, the only thing they'll have for you is, I said, I don't care what it is, get me out of here. So I wound up getting placed in the culinary division of the Air Force. And then when I got out, I got stationed in Vegas, and keep in mind I was 17 going on 18, so it's really an adult town. So when I got out there, it was kind of slow. I wasn't really feeling it. So I actually wanted to come back home, and then my mentor at the time was like, man, why don't you try this thing down on the Strip at Caesar's Palace, like a little intern program. I was like, okay. He said, yeah, you get out for 45 days, and then, you get paid the per diem and all that. I'm like, cool, I'll take that. I said, well, what is it? He said, it's pastry arts. I was like, man, you might as well send me home. I ain't doing no pastry arts. But I walked in, and the first time I picked up the mixing bowl and spatula, I just never looked back.
Wow.
I was actually best in the Air Force in 97 and 98.
Wow. So then, let me just ask you this. So, with that being said, and now, who came up with Cakes to a T?
It was pretty much me and my girl. It was kind of that's the whole Cakes to a T is kind of wrapped up in my testimony. I had fell on some hard times after my divorce. I was married for like 8 years, and then really hit like a dark place in my life. I was still in Vegas. I stayed out there 15 years, and I was one of the people growing up. Like I saw how a lot of marriages, fell apart and losing kids, and I always told myself, that'd never be me.
Yeah.
And then it wound up being me. And literally, I lost everything except for, maybe my clothes, a few CDs, everything, car, house, everything. And try to stay out there, hoping that things would work out. It turned into an ugly spiral for me. I became a functional alcoholic, became a wild boy, ripping and running in Vegas. And I had gotten so far away from Christ because that was pretty much my foundation growing up. My grandmother, my great-grandmother, I was brought up in the church. And by the time I was 30, I was... I technically, you can say I turned my back on God, but in my heart, I didn't. But the way I was living wasn't, conducive with a life that's living for Christ. So, I found my now girl Amy during that time. This is back when the explosion of social media was just taking off. So when you first hop on, you're trying to find everybody you can. So we just kind of connected, and we just started rapping a lot online. We started calling, and it was late '08. She says, why don't you come home for vacation? You came home this year, because I used to always come back at least 2 times a year. I was like, you know what, you're right. I said, I'm going to spend Christmas with my son. I fly out the next day. I flew back the day after Christmas in '08, and I knew at that time I wasn't coming back. I wasn't going back to Vegas. Right. It was in my heart. It was one of the few times I felt the Lord speak to me. So I told my family that I was staying home. It was going to be new for me. I would need some help. because I had been, you know, self-sufficient since I was 13. I always had a job. So I thought it was going to be, you know, a real easy transition. Obama was just coming into office early '09.
Yeah.
But by this time, I couldn't find a job, man. It got real dark. I couldn't find a job, even places I was applying for. I had reached some dark parts of my life, but 2009 was the worst year of my life.
Wow.
And it was it was dark, like cable off, no internet, no cell phone. I would have to leave my car running because I couldn't even afford to get my battery changed. It was, you know, I fell back into those patterns on how I knew how to cope with things. It was by drinking, you know, getting high, just trying to, you know, self-medicate myself to get away from the reality. So I finally wound up getting a gig at managing this dry cleaning spot, but you know, the pay was meager. Still couldn't, you know, really connect things. So I never forget anything. Like, my memory is just really that good. And one day I made the biggest mistake of my life. I was actually en route to another job interview in West Baltimore. And keep in mind, I had no phone. So I got halfway through the Harbor Tunnel and I was like, man, I forgot the address. So I was like, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shoot over on the east side, use my brother's computer, get the address and keep it moving. So when I pulled up, I had no idea my grandmother was even in town. So I pulled up and I'm looking a mess. I'm like, man, like, while as I'm thinking these things, I'm thinking to myself, how did I get to this? Like, I had always had everything I needed, and you know, here I am, you know, broke, can't provide it anyway, and I'm sitting in the car thinking this, and my grandmother's looking directly at me. I'm in the car looking at my grandmother on the porch, and I can't get myself to get out the car. I was like, you know what, bump it. So I finally stepped out the car, man. I took 2 steps out the car and I just broke down crying. I'm in the middle of East Baltimore, August 6th. My grandma was like, T, is that you? Like, get up here. Like, what's wrong with you, man? We in East Baltimore. You out there crying. Like, get up here. So I got up there, you know, and I knew the moment I stepped on the porch and I felt her arms that I was gonna get the sermon, which I wasn't trying to hear. I was just trying to get in there, get the address, and keep going. She said, sit down on this porch. So she says, what's going on? So I just get about 20 minutes of, you know, where I was at in my life, how I'd gotten there. And then when she was done, she was like, all right, what do you want? She says, you want a bakery or a barbershop? And I was like, what? She was like, you're the only grandchild who's never asked for anything. Your sinful pride is always not allowed. Your pride has always kept you from asking for help. I was like, well, I said, I love cutting hair, but I really love doing cakes. She's all right, I got to go back to Virginia in 2 days. She says, get together my proposal and have it ready for me in 2 days. I gave her a hug. I jumped off that porch. I didn't go to the job interview. I went straight home. The whole night I'm just putting together a proposal. So I called her the next morning. I said, Grandma, I got it ready. She says, are you sure? I said, Grandma, I'm positive. She's like, I gave you 2 days. I said, Grandma, it's ready. She's all right, meet me down at the eatery on Charles and Fayette, the outside eatery. I'm like, all right, we'll meet around 4. So me and Amy, we get our proposal. We head down there. We get outside, and she says, before we move forward, let's pray about this meeting consultation. We prayed, and she said, give me the proposal, about that thick. All she did was flim through it. She said, I don't want to see nothing that's in here. I just want to see how serious she was. She turned right back and on the arm part of the chair, pulled a checkbook out and started writing the check right there on the spot. She put it right in the middle of the table like that. She says, Amy, put your hand on top of it, and T, you put your hand on top of it. And then she put her hand on it, and she prayed over all of our hands. And by the time I'm crying all over again, because I'm thinking to myself, just 24 hours ago, like, I had like nothing, and look, I'm en route to another job, and like, this is going down. So she said, amen, and she says, y'all take that. She says, this is not a loan. This is an investment into your future. You know, you becoming successful is your payback to me, and that's how we got birth. So
successful did you become?
Yeah. So and that's how the whole Cakes to a T name came out. It's actually Cakes is the business. It's 2 of us. A is for Amy and T is for T. Cakes to a T.
Nah, that was powerful. That's beautiful, man.
Powerful.
That was definitely powerful. So with, you know, you having all those struggles in your life and, you know, being able to overcome it, you know, with the help of the Lord, do you ever like share your story with the younger generations?
All the time. I tell them and said, it took me like at least a year and a half to even tell the kids even what I did, because I didn't want them being sold off who I am and what I do for a living versus like it's no no need for me y'all to learn, because anybody can learn from like the goodness. That's the easy part.
Yeah.
The harder part is like saying like, don't go this route. I lived it. I went there. You don't want to get in them dark places. Don't pick this up. Don't touch that. And even though like I've never sold drugs, I've never been in gangs and all like that. Who to say if I didn't have a strong father or a strong parental guidance, growing up, like where I could have been, and these kids have much less. So yeah, I mean I share the dark all the time with them. In fact, I think that's what most of these kids need nowadays, is that raw energy, that raw story. We can't keep dancing around the reality of what's really going on. So,
and I think that you sharing your story like that to the younger generation definitely helps them a lot, because especially in these times and these days, they're so exposed to so much at such a young age. It's actually really crazy what they're seeing, what they're
and that's kind of what I limited them to. Like even in the barbershop, I got like it's like rules on my door. If you get in my program, like you come in the shop, like ain't no cussing, no judgment, no yelling, no use of the N-word, no pants sagging, respect for women. If you can't, certain things I can kind of bend on, but those rules, they simple, so you shouldn't, and there's no rap music played in the shop. I just can't. I mean, and like I said, and I realized, knowing what I grew up, I love that, and I realized that sometimes when they get to a certain age, they can pick whatever they want to listen to. I just know how impressionable some of those lyrics are, with the misogynic and violent rhetoric that's in the lyrics. We don't need no more than the black community. It's 2017, so
definitely.
So talking about the kids, your passion for kids and helping them in your barbershop, is the driving force for your barbershop all about just helping the kids and making a bigger impact by using one of your passions, or
just serving God?
Nice.
So since we're touching on the kids, so I hear that you do a lot of like humanitarian work for the kids, especially at my mother's school, because you work with my mom. So what is it? She told me that you gave a lot of gifts to the kids for Christmas. Like, expand on that.
It's so funny that they be talking about, because so much of what my story is, the seed that my grandmother planted, it wasn't planted the day she wrote the check. It was planted like early on. Like, she just celebrated her 80th, and I told her the same thing, like, thank you for so much, because when I was a child, she says, I'm gonna give you $2 a week to go to church. So I was going to church all the time. And then one day she cut off. I'm like, Grandma, what's good? What's $2 at? She says, you shouldn't get paid to serve the Lord.
Wow.
So I was like, okay. That's what's up. I ate that by 10, so I started acting up in school. She says, I'm going to give you keep in mind, this is like 87, 88. I'm going to give you $100 a A, $50 a B till you get back on track. Straight A's, on bro. Straight A's. and then again, it was just cut off. I'm like, Grandma, what's good? You shouldn't get paid to do well in school. You're supposed to. But I was seeing the message she was sending. So fast forward and all this, it was like, now I'm gonna finally give you something, because you are supposed to have a job, but you're not supposed to excel at it. So she said, I believe that you're gonna take off. In fact, when I got that check, I got in the car and I told Amy, I said, watch how I freak this money. I knew what I was capable of doing. So I also, my grandmother's a giver, her mother was a giver. I come from a family full of givers, and we just believe in like recycling that energy, passing it on to others. When you're blessed, you're supposed to be a blessing to others. So I just made a promise with God. I'm telling you, man, y'all making me relive a lot of stuff. Like,
wow,
we was 4 months in the business, and after my grandmother gave me that check, I decided to rededicate my life back to the Lord and get my life straight. It was a while, because I was still drinking, I was still partying, so I had to seep a lot of that out. So. At the end of that year, I said, me and Amy was like, look, we're not going to go out for New Year's. This is late 09. This is 4 months after getting the check. I said, we're going to turn a new leaf over. 2010, we're going to give it all to God. We're going to party tonight and I sell a drink, get all our system. We go to church. The first sermon in 2010 was claiming what you want out of life, how to be patient waiting for it, but still how to be steadfast in your walk. Man, I'm saying I got a call the following day after that prayer. It was Kelson from 92Q in Baltimore. He was like, bruh, you know that cake you did for your best friend last night, his mother-in-law? I'm like, yeah. He said, that's my grandmother. He says, man, I was so impressed, man. He says, we would love to use your work down at Radio 1. I'm like, that's a bet. I want to introduce you to Kathy Hughes now. For a lot of people don't know Kathy Hughes, and he's huge. Come to find out, we live 10 minutes apart. But she was, I want to do an introduction. He says, do a trial run. If you nail it, you probably be on for life. If you don't, you probably won't ever again. He said, sit back and wait for the call. We got a call a month later, March 24th, 2010, changed the course of my life. I said, who is it? He said, Alicia Keys.
Wow.
Overnight.
If that's not a way to start, I don't know how else to start.
Overnight. It was just, and then it just steamrolled. Like, in fact, I didn't even absorb or live in the moment because sometimes it was so surreal. I really only lived through it when I see the pictures all over again. Like, wow, that was us. Like, wow. Because it was so fast. It was literally like, Alicia. We did Drake before Drake's first album dropped. Nice. Then it was Trey Songz, Patti LaBelle, Jeez. I mean, it was nonstop. And so going from 2009, which was the worst year of my life, to 2010, which was probably the best year of my life, because I went from being broke to like I couldn't stop counting money.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
living the dream.
Yeah.
That's all God right there.
That is.
Yeah,
it is absolutely.
And it's funny when people ask me that, like, yo, what's your secret? I get tell like, oh man, I ain't trying to hear that. But you're not really trying to hear what I'm telling you, God. There's really no secret. The word is in there. We make it hard to be obedient. We really do. Like, I hear a lot of my friends like they going through something. I'm angry at God. In my whole life, my entire life, I was never angry at God because I knew any misfortunes I was getting, I knew I was getting it because of the way I was living. So when I tell them like, yo, why are you angry at God? What are you doing that's worthy of you being, a beneficiary of his goodness or his grace, anything? Look at yourself. And that's what I had to do some self-reflecting. And then even, like I said, even after Alicia Keys and all these times, I was still drunk. I was, in fact, you wouldn't even know I was drunk unless I told you. So I'm going through it. So about 4 years after that, I'm still struggling with that. And then one night, the irony was 4 years later, the night before we do Alicia Keys again, I fell on my knees. I said, God, take this vice, take this anger, take my inability to forgive, take it all away. Take it all away from me. He took it like that.
And he will. He will.
And people was like, some of my closest friends and family members laughed at me. Been drinking for 20 years. You can't just cut this out like that.
Exactly.
So when you do like an extreme change like that, it scares people. I lost some close family members just from quitting drinking. Because they used to, like, you the life of the party. You get them into these spots. I'm talking about close. When I mean by close, I mean like immediate family.
Wow.
There's an ugly side of this game that don't want, I don't project or share that because I don't believe in throwing out negative energy like that, so.
But since you did start with such a high caliber of customers, what is it about your cakes that makes them so popular?
I just think, especially within the black community, I've learned, and this is no shade against whites, is that we love to celebrate ourselves. Like we love to celebrate ourselves, and so especially with a lot of the times I would just early on we just did cakes that kind of celebrated the artist's entire career, so they can kind of reflect like, wow, I remember that, and they appreciate that, So
what was probably your favorite cake you've made so far?
It's been a few. We did a Raven Stadium cake. A Popeye's chicken. Snoop Dogg's one of my favorite.
I can only imagine.
He was fun for the obvious reasons. Kevin Hart was real fun. I mean, it's. I tell you about my favorite cake is always my next cake because I put the same amount of energy whether you're a celebrity or not. The same energy in there. But I mean, there are some personal favorites like the Raven Stadium was really up there. And people are like, oh, it's because of the Raven. It could have been Heinz Field. I mean, I was even impressed by myself when it was done because we had like the lights going in the jumbotron and all that. So.
You think the passion for that specific cake came from your passion for the Ravens, or you just put a little bit more extra?
It actually, because the person I was doing it for was equally as big as a fan as I am. Nice. So yeah.
So which Raven was the first Ravens cake you made?
And that's why I tell people like how God just steps in is just like when you step into something like that, you thinking you're gonna work your way for maybe like. Again, no shades. Maybe like a bench warmer, someone who we went from Ray Lewis and worked our way down.
Wow.
Yeah. So and that was on, and we got that on the introduction through the mayor of Baltimore City on the day of his street naming ceremony. It happened literally in like 36 hours. 36 hours. Like, hey man, you need this cake, Ray. We make the introduction. He's invited me to his house 3 times. I've never been able to make it because of my work schedule.
Wow.
Yeah. But Ray's good people. In fact, Ray, rest in peace. Ray actually walked me on the apex I consider of my career was when we did ESPN Monday Night Football. Because I'm a huge football fan. People were like, "Oh, I want Patti LaBelle." What? Yeah, cause I love music and I love those artists. But like,
Patti LaBelle though.
and Patti is my favorite. Like, my because I grew up. That's what my mom listens to all the time. She's my favorite female artist. But and although that was huge, man, Monday Night Football.
Top tier.
I can't look. See my arm right now, right?
Yeah,
It's like, man, it was so.
Exactly.
And long story short, so I was escorted on the field with Ray and Stuart Scott right before he died.
Wow. Stuart Scott's
Yeah. So could you imagine? And people was like, but it wasn't even in Baltimore because it was when the Skins played the Niners. I said, when you're a fan of the game, you're a fan of that before your team. So you there and you know, I ain't gonna lie, man. I was down there acting a fool, man. When they was like, you got all access. Like I'm on the sideline. I'm in the replay booth. I'm everywhere. And then I got to just chill by the ESPN. When you see them live shooting, you know, Trent Dilfer, I was like right there the entire night. So Steve Young, he was another favorite of mine. Got to hang with, you know. So that was.
That's like every football.
Well, Phil. So the fellas got it, and a lot of them who know sports, they got it too. Because I put on Facebook, y'all don't even know I'm having a time of my life. It was just that insane.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So speaking of your Baltimore Ravens, your beloved Ravens.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm a Cowboys fan. So you know, big time Cowboys fan. So you know, I get jealous of every Super Bowl winner. You know, I get jealous of the Patriots, the Seahawks. I was really jealous of the Ravens. The reason why is because you guys won that Super Bowl beating the 49ers in a great game. Yeah. Also kind of looked a little rigged, but
some could say.
I thought Joe Flacco and Tony Romo was the same guy until he won the Super Bowl. Then Joe Flacco became considered by many that he'll be above Tony Romo because of the fact that he won the Super Bowl. I think Joe Flacco is literally a boomer bust guy. I think he's hella overrated. I think that Anquan Bolden was the reason why offensively you guys won that Super Bowl. He made a lot of tough catches where Flacco just threw it up and Bolden went to go get the ball. How do you feel about Joe Flacco as the starting quarterback in the near future for your Baltimore Ravens? Do you think that he can ever win another one?
Yeah, I think he can at least get 2 more out. I think it's also getting
two what?
2 more rings.
Division crowns.
Well, he would have to get that to get the ring. So yeah, I mean that's fine as well too. I mean I don't see there won't be one in the Star City for a while. Y'all won't get one. I think, like I said, but you're to see how well balanced that team was. You say Bolden, but like, did you really watch the playoff run? Did you watch?
I saw the 3 spectacular catches that Bolden made in the playoffs to help.
So you totally not even that. So you totally forgot about Jacoby Jones.
Jacoby Jones was that dude. He was ridiculous.
I mean, you must have forgot.
I'm talking about clutch situations.
Well, I will say this. Bolden put us over the hump in New England.
Okay.
But they weren't toss-up passes. Those were design plays. And in fact, if you go back and watch the plays all over again, that's the same play we scored first in the Super Bowl against the 49ers. The same exact play. I mean, it's just like, and sometimes it's your season. Because I think personally, the year before when we lost, that team was much better than the team that actually won. So
I think that with Ray being so Christian based, so God, I think the Lord, in my opinion, with Ray Lewis, I think that he's so spiritual and so has his strength in the Lord is amazing, especially in the 21st century athletes. I think that when God and him kind of had a conversation with each other, and they knew when it was time to be done.
He said that.
I think God touched him a little bit. Was like, I got you one more Super Bowl over the end. He said that, and say that's. You won't lose to Tom Brady no more.
Well, you know, you're right, because Ray did retire today. Yeah, we won't lose to Brady. Because like 2 years later when we lost in New England, when we had the 14-point lead twice, I was like, that was tough to swallow too.
Definitely.
But yeah, I think Flacco. I'm honest. I think he's a great quarterback. Is he amongst the greatest right now? No. I think most fans gotta be honest with themselves. But also, I think sometimes it's the system you in and the weapons you have around you. So,
So you know I gotta ask you, because see, when y'all drafted Marlon Humphrey, you know, the corner from Alabama, the first thing I said was, why did the Ravens draft him? Mind you, and I'm not saying y'all secondary didn't need help, because y'all secondary was trash. Because outside of Jimmy Smith, I don't trust the rest of them bums. That's just me.
and I barely trust Jimmy. I barely trust Jimmy. He can't stay healthy.
How do you feel about Marlon Humphrey, and what do you think that he's going to bring to the team, coming from an Alabama system that was pretty darn good up until, like, I told this dude over here that they was going to lose to Clemson, but that's a whole nother conversation.
I just see it's kind of, to me, it's hard for rookie secondary people to come in and really make an impact like that. I mean, how often do you hear of a rookie sensation unless it's like a Woodson or a Dion? Like, I mean, there's a handful that really are instant sensations.
Special.
I mean, yeah, they're so special.
I mean, Marcus Peters, he made a huge splash when he came in.
But I'm talking about, but how long did it last?
I mean, it's not that it didn't last, because last year he still had a great year. I
think we should have. I do agree we should have cleaned house, but I think we should have. Even now, I mean, you got Revis out there still lingering. It looked like Sherman about to get on the market because of the tension with him and and I'm like, we need to. I always for the last. In fact, since our Super Bowl win, our greatest weakness has been our secondary, and then recently it's been our wide receiving core. You know, I'm talking about like consistent. Like you can't. Okay, what about Steve Smith? Yeah, but once we got rid of Torrey, and like Perryman's not doing nothing.
And when Anquan
man, they cleaned house at the Super Bowl win. So
yeah,
but we'll see. I mean, I wish we would have went out and got some veterans that were out there, but I can't go with that in Ozzie we trust thing anymore. I can't. So
this is the last question, since you touched on Torrey Smith. So from what I understand, that Torrey Smith has started something at Franklin Square Elementary. Can you elaborate on that for me?
When Torrey first got here, we linked up and became real close. And he, even after, well, he was doing this thing before he left throughout the Baltimore community. Like some people don't know, like. His wife was from Philly and he's from Virginia, so they kind of like met right in the middle in Maryland, and then of course he got drafted here. And they fell in love with the city, so even when he went to the 49ers, he was still had an impact on the city. And then he kind of saw the things we was doing, and he reached out like, hey man, we would love to just merge with y'all and do like our after school program. So we're kind of in the works of that right now, vamping it up and getting that ready for the next school year. So. But Torrey's a real good dude, man. Real good dude. That's why he's always up for Walter Payton Man of the Year. So.
All right. Well, if anybody doesn't have any more final thoughts, thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I'm and just from the heart, to be honest. We had a lot of interviews. We did a lot of interviews, in the past like that. I think this is probably the most powerful one
we've ever had.
Yeah,
definitely most powerful. Like and just WB Jar, We Believe God Radio, and the fact that you touched on it. I think probably the first interviewee that we had that spoke about his religion, his strength and trust in God, and your story is amazing. I wish you nothing but the continued success that you already had. Amazing story, and I'm touched.
I appreciate that.
Yes.
All right, so we are going to move on to what everybody has been waiting for. Last night we watched LeBron kind of close the book to the Eastern Conference Finals and open the door to what we've all been waiting for, the 2017 NBA Finals. You guys ready to talk about it? How you feeling, Brandon?
I've been waiting for this.
Oh, I know you've been waiting for
this.
I know you have.
I waited for this since July 4th when Kevin Durant
decided to
go to state on Independence Day.
Oh Lord. Please be politically correct.
I'm so happy right now because look, everybody that watches the show knows that I'm a big Miami Heat fan. I'm a huge Miami Heat fan.
So that means you're still a LeBron fan?
No. When LeBron left Miami, I was devastated. I was disappointed. I was devastated. I was hurt.
You knew it was coming.
I live to see LeBron crumble in the finals now.
I'm sure you do.
I live to see LeBron crumble. I wanted to see him on his knees crying.
Do you really think he's going to crumble in the finals?
Absolutely. I think.
What is your definition of crumble?
Him losing in 5.
Oh my gosh.
You were just disrespectful.
I think Golden State.
I agree.
Golden State is has an offense that we've never we never seen before. Just the likes of having Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, with the playmaking ability and the all-around defense ability that Draymond Green has, with the bench of JaVale McGee and Ian Clark and David West and the rest of those boys stepping up. Golden State was 3-1 last year.
Right.
And now you take away Harrison Barnes and you add the second best player in the world, which is Kevin Durant. And what do you think is going to happen now? So they were up 3-1 last year before the Draymond Green suspension and the Iguodala injury and the Andrew Bogut injury. They're up 3-1. Now you add the second best player in the world. I don't think Cleveland has become a less defensive basketball team from the year before. And now that you have Golden State that just basically, now they're like on steroids for Kevin Durant. What are you going to do? How do you defend that? You're a Cavalier fan or you're a Cavalier player. How do you guard those positions? The best scenario on defense is to leave Klay Thompson open for a three-pointer. And that's scary because he's the second best shooter in the history of the game.
Hold on. Let me make sure I gather my thoughts correctly. Let me just make sure I get this correct. Because, see,
I know you have something for us, Shane. Come on.
It's really sad. It's just sad. Because the problem with this whole situation is, as much as I want to give LeBron the benefit of the doubt, there's just no way in hell he's going to beat this team. No way. Do I believe he's going to go down the way everybody thinks it's going to go down? Some people say 5 games. I think it's going to be 6.
I don't think people saying that. I hear a lot of 7, which is crazy to me. But
people can say 7 all they want. I just don't think it's going to go down to 7 because of the fact that Draymond Green is on a mission. Kevin Durant, he's really on a mission. I don't care what anybody say. I think out of all these players that I think is the most dangerous right now, I think Kevin Durant is the most dangerous out of every last one of them. The reason being, no. Let me tell you why I'm more on the KD bandwagon than I am the Steph Curry bandwagon right now.
This is new. Wait, this is new. He just called on Punk 3 weeks ago.
Because he is. He still is.
You realize LeBron is going to be guarding Kevin Durant the entire series.
Yes, he has no choice. Who gonna guard KD?
Absolutely.
You gonna leave Tristan Thompson by himself? Wait a minute, you gonna leave Kevin Love with him?
You don't think
no.
Intimidate Kevin Durant a little bit?
You Iman Shumpert. Mr. I like to be with Tiana Taylor in videos all day. No, you're not going to do that.
He needs to put some clothes. He needs to put some clothes on by the way, too. You need to put some clothes on by the way.
Right. Yeah, he really need to put some clothes on in that video. I was like, bruh. This is what I got to say about this. The Warriors right now, the reason why I feel like they're the most dangerous team I've ever seen in NBA history is only because they have so many. It's not. They have too many different ways to score.
Yep.
Too many different ways. The Cavaliers, LeBron, he better drop 40 a night. He better average 10 assists
but who's
with 10
to say
rebounds
he won't do that?
Every night.
Have you seen his postseason numbers this season? Who's to say he won't have 7, 6, 5 straight 35 plus points?
Mike, let her know, Mike. Let her know.
He almost.
Mike, let me chime in. I got Golden State in 6. I could see it going 5. I think a lot of people, just from a fan perspective, want to see it go 7. Yeah. But that's not going to happen. Let me tell you why. Steph Curry, he's on a mission, okay? Steph Curry was hurt last year. He was
They're
hobbled.
All on a mission.
No, Steph Curry's on a mission. You think, remember that ejection in Game 6 last year in the finals? You think that's not stuck in the back of his mind? He was injured last year. Also, Kevin Durant is on a mission. And to your point where you said LeBron's going to guard him, well, KD dropped 30 in the finals. What was that, 2012? So I don't think that's affecting him too much. Kevin Durant's going to get his own shot. He's going to score whenever. I'm looking for Klay Thompson to be big, though. I'm really looking for that matchup because, J.R. Smith guarding them. So
you know what I like, Mike, about
what's
you?
up?
You know what I like, brother? I like the fact that you're starting. You. So people don't know, me and Mike, we go way back. We were in high school together. We were on the stag line together at the math to write newspaper articles. So Mike, you've really grown so much. Your education of the game is second to none.
Hey, stop it.
See, he being disrespectful at this point.
It's second to none. It's
beautiful. He's feeling himself.
But I want to make. I think that's what before Courtney Times, I want to talk about this as well. This is the finals of no excuses. This is the first time both teams are healthy. I don't want to hear nothing about Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving not being healthy.
Yep.
I don't want to hear about Steph Curry being healthy. This is it. This is the rubber match. This is the
gonna
end.
come down to
It's
who's
gonna-
gonna
yeah,
win the team.
we're gonna see who's gonna win the series. And please, I like everybody to know this as well. Kevin Durant, it's not enough to win the NBA championship riding the coattails of Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. Let me repeat it again. Kevin Durant, it's not enough for you to ride the coattails of Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Draymond Green. You have to be, let me repeat it again. You have to be the reason Golden State wins the NBA
Does
championship.
he have to be the reason the entire time? I don't think so. Not on the Warriors.
I
Not
feel
on
like
this
Mr. T
Warriors
got
team.
something to say about
Mr.
that.
T, do you have anything to say about this 2017 finals?
I'm kind of in agreement with kind of, I guess, the majority. I think it's gonna go 5, maybe 6. I do agree with my man. I think out of everybody, I think KD has the most to prove.
Yes.
The reason being, because everyone, the expectancy for what the Golden State Warriors should be doing or what they ought to do is so high now because they got KD. So I can't even consider him an X factor. I personally think he's gonna get in there and go off. I like the Warriors. The one thing I do notice is that for whatever reason, I'm not sure if it's the prime time of some of these games, but sometimes, as much as I love Steph Curry, he comes up missing or short in some of these playoffs. I mean, the year they won, Iguodala won MVP. If they would have wound up winning last year, they probably would have been Draymond Green as the MVP. I just think Durant is. I think Durant is going to show America why he went to the Warriors in these finals. And again, like you said, I mean, you just never know when Klay's gonna catch, because when Klay catches fire,
Anybody on this team?
Oh,
37 and a
but
quarter.
but yeah, 37 and a quarter. I mean, nights like that, he just catches fire.
It's a wrap.
Curry is always, Curry, and then you got Draymond. But I think out of everyone, I just think that Kevin Durant has the most to prove. I do remember this as well too, is that I don't think that LeBron is real good when it comes to revenge games. And what I mean by that is that the year that San Antonio beat the Heat.
Ooh, I like your basketball.
See, the year
He
they
knows
won.
basketball.
That was in the Spurs' mind. It never left their mind that Ray Allen pushed that to a game 7 with that 3. They came out the following year and they destroyed the Heat. I mean, in fact, they could have got swept if it wasn't for that one lucky shot or whatever. It was a close game, maybe one.
It was game 2. LeBron James had a great third
Great game,
quarter.
but
after that, it was annihilation. They literally
and
killed
they
them.
barely won that game.
Yup.
But they could have. I mean, they could have got swept. So, and I just think that when you have, I just think sometimes that and keep in mind when I come down on LeBron, people think that I'm hating or I'm not a fan. I just think sometimes his mental toughness is not there. I think he's soft in certain games. I think if it gets off to how it got up against San Antonio a few years back,
So done deal. I think it'd be a sweep. Don't
it could
make it
possibly.
think like LeBron.
I think if Golden State takes the first 2 games,
It's
it
a
might be.
You guys think-
It might be a sweep. Because I mean,
He doesn't have the mental toughness. Like, I literally watched the best
Yeah.
player in the world lose with a record finals margin, like record margin in the finals ever.
You also watched the best player in the world come back 3 games down in the finals last year.
with Draymond Green suspension.
yeah.
And I'm sorry. Look, this is what I always said about LeBron, that I just don't feel like he has. That this is why I get mad when they compare him to MJ or Kobe. He doesn't have that killer instinct. He just doesn't. MJ, when if you and I was standing next to each other and I was MJ and he was like, say, Karl Malone,
But Kyrie
he gonna
has
be
that
in
killer
his ear like,
instinct.
yo, son, you know I'm about to dunk
I agree
on
with
you,
that. Yeah,
right?
I agree with that with Kyrie.
Kyrie
And that's not.
has that killer instinct. Why not drop 2 dribbles in, kick it out to Kyrie for?
But when you claiming you the best player in the world,
You can be the best player and still be set your team up for success.
Nah.
Magic Johnson.
He has a team this year.
Magic Johnson, in my opinion, I think for in the 80s was a Cole MVP. I mean, Cole best player was Magic, it was Bird, and they both made their teammates better. Now Bird was the more clutch shooter, the guy you want to get the ball to. But let's do that. But we'll get onto that Michael Jordan LeBron debate. Cause I'm gonna start that. I'm gonna kill it. I'm gonna kill it.
So you guys just want to go ahead and start
Who-
talking about MJ
who is,
and LeBron, or are we still?
Who you rock with? MJ or
Oh, LeBron. Oh, MJ. My bad. MJ.
Okay,
All right. To discuss with it's been annoying watching ESPN and television for the last week or so. All I hear about from guys like Nick Wright and the rest of these guys is just the fact that LeBron's better than Michael Jordan. Hold your brakes, guys. I hate when people say stuff like, "Oh, he has more career points." Well, LeBron more career points in the playoffs, or "Oh, he's gonna break all MJ's records." Let's be real. MJ started in the NBA when he was 21 as a junior in North Carolina. That's when he left. Correct?
Right.
He left in North Carolina as a junior. LeBron came out of high school. Of course, he's gonna have more points. And if you want to bring up the fact that LeBron James he had the ability to go to high school. Michael Jordan probably was doing the same thing, but it wasn't the norm back then. It wasn't normal for people to go from high school to go to the NBA. I'm gonna bring up these key points, and after I'm done talking about this debate. Michael Jordan has 3 rings, 3 more final MVPs, 1 more Defensive Player of the Year, which LeBron doesn't have, 1 more MVP in an NBA season, 9 more scoring titles, 3 more steals leaders, 3 more All Defensive Team selections. 4,000 more points, 800 more steals. Oh, and then we talk about the dominance he did in the East. Michael Jordan beat 20, 50-plus win teams in the playoffs. LeBron only defeated 10. Jordan never averaged less than 40% field goals in the NBA Finals. LeBron did it twice. 6 for 6 in the NBA Finals.
Right.
Never allowed a Game 7. LeBron did twice. LeBron had much more help. Dwayne Wade, top 25 player of all time. Kyrie Irving, who's probably a top 10 player in the world right now. Kevin Love, who was 26-12 in Minnesota. Michael Jordan had Scottie Pippen and Tony Kukoc and Horace Grant, but he didn't have nobody in those caliber players.
Yep.
Jordan never had a teammate average more than 22 points per game in the NBA Finals, ever. Kyrie averaged over 28 last year. Dwayne Wade had 26 in 2011. MJ never had a finals meltdown like he did in 2011 in the NBA Finals, when he wet the bed for 4 consecutive fourth quarters in the NBA Finals. MJ has more points in playoffs and less games, and he accomplished all this in 13 NBA seasons. LeBron has 14, and he's still chasing.
We'll see.
But I feel like what, in essence, you naming all these stats, and I completely agree with all of them. I understand what you're saying about all of these. But what I feel like this is, in essence, doing is taking away from the simple accomplishment that he did surpass him in post-game season scoring. But I don't think the conversation should be who's better and what's better. I feel like it needs to stay at a standpoint of who was number one in that category at the time. Because let's be real, the analysts make up 400 different categories a day. The things to talk about, the number that who surpassed who in different points or different, stats. But I feel like it's nothing to not. It doesn't go without saying he has an accomplishment that he accomplished last night. So we can't not address it, or we can't talk about it, or we can't give LeBron his accolades for doing so. But you're taking away from it almost.
What do you feel about it, Mike?
I mean, I'm pretty much like on the fence with you. Like, I mean, it's great, but I mean, it is history. Like we were talking earlier, it is history, but I don't know. I don't feel like it's too much comparing and not enough appreciation.
Exactly. I feel like everyone is focused on the comparison of who was better than who. It's not about that. It's about last night, LeBron scored 2 more points and passed Michael Jordan's record for postseason scoring. Regardless of the fact that he was in more, conference finals and all this, that's what he did. So why are we taking away from it?
The topic that most people put up is Michael Jordan. Is he better than LeBron James? Is LeBron better than Michael Jordan? That's what we hear. That's what
I feel like it shouldn't be a comparison.
I don't think it's a question. It shouldn't be a question.
But my friend, it is. Let me tell you why it is.
Unfortunately,
because people that don't know the game think it is. Like,
I think it's this generation more so than
so too.
the previous generation. Like my dad will never say that.
Yeah, but my thing is this: it's like LeBron James, in my opinion, just gets too much glory. And the reason why I say he gets too much glory is
too much glory. They tear him down every day. He gets. Are you serious?
If he wins this NBA Finals,
if he wins this NBA Finals, he's going to be greatest of all time talk, of course. But look at the team he's got to take down if he does so.
My opinion is the fact that at the end of the day, at the end of the situation, people praise this man. Let's not forget.
Is he not praisable?
Yes, but he's not top player all time. I don't think literally. I think it's MJ, Kareem, and somebody swayed my opinion. I used to think Kobe was in the top 5, but it was LeBron. I used to put LeBron at number 3. Kobe is definitely better than LeBron James. It's all about range, baby. At the end of the day, it's all about wins. Can you win? Going 3 or 4 in the NBA Finals is not win. And let's be real, it should be 1 and 5, Mike. Ray Allen bailed him out. Draymond Green bailed him out. But Courtney wants to praise LeBron James.
I don't want to. I do think LeBron is deserving of all the praise. I don't think he is deserving of being in the conversation of the best player of all time yet. I feel like after the finals, we're gonna see maybe how that turns out. That pans out.
When he loses the NBA Finals this year, where does he go from here? That's 3 and 5.
That's a
Mike.
question that's up for grabs.
That's
Where
3 for
does
5,
LeBron
Mike.
go after this?
That's 3 for 5. Like, what do we do for that? What do we do for 3 for 5 guys? Like, do we? Let me know. Like, where do we go? Like,
I don't know. It's gonna be a bunch
So
of excuses.
after this NBA Finals, what do you think? Let's say Warriors take it.
okay.
What do you think?
I think it all goes with how he loses. See, we seen him melt down in the 2011 NBA Finals. We seen his team get blown out in a record margin in the NBA Finals. We seen stuff like this happen before. But if he loses in 4 or 5 games, it's over.
Okay, let's say he doesn't lose on 4. You said LeBron should be having to compete contestly in this series. He has to have at least 35 a game to stat stuff for all the whole series. He does that and he still doesn't win. What is the conversation we have about LeBron then? It just wasn't enough, or
no, I think that he was overmatched, but he lost.
Exactly. At
But
the
he
end of the
lost.
day, that's true. At the end of the day, he was outmatched with team wise, basically. That's all we can say about it. And he's still going to be in conversation for one of the best players of all time. You guys can disagree with me if you want. That's what I think.
I mean, Golden State kind of Kevin Durant went solely just so
It's
they.
not
The
fair.
team is put together to beat LeBron, pretty
The
much.
team is put together
Yeah.
to beat the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Mhm.
That's what they have been put together to do. Speaking of beating the Cleveland Cavaliers, let's talk about keys for both the Warriors and the Cavs to win Game 1. What we have to see from both teams to get a win from either team.
Who we starting with first?
Let's start with Cavs first.
What
Brent,
the Cavs need
To win,
Mike, what do you think? The
Jesus,
keys?
they need Jesus. They need Jesus. I think that Cavaliers have to hope that the Spurs, that what happened with the Spurs in Game 1 against Golden State in the series has to happen again. Golden State's a little rusty shooting the ball. I think that if Golden State's sloppy with the basketball with turnovers, Cleveland will be able to take advantage of it because of the fact that they have the finishing prowess of Kyrie Irving in the fast break, as well as having LeBron James, being able to facilitate drive and kick to their shooters like Kevin Love, J.R. Smith, and the rest of those boys. I think that turnover is the only way that you can be able to do it. And hopefully that, and God just blesses them, and all three, Kyrie, Steph, and Clay. KD, Steph, and Clay just happen to have bad shooting nights. Beside that, I don't see
Which
it.
is very possible. You've seen Steph and Clay have bad shooting nights multiple
But isn't
games.
that the beauty of having Kevin Durant?
That is the beauty
But
of having
he-
Kevin Durant, but that's also the beauty of playing against the Cleveland Cavaliers team who has a Kyrie, Kevin Love, and LeBron James.
Well, here's my issue. Here's the problem I think everybody's going to understand. The problem is I really don't believe that only one of those guys is going to have a bad night. That's it. One of those guys are going to have a bad night, and that's just going to be the end of that. So, what people got to understand is this. I believe this is what's going to happen. The keys to victory for the Warriors, just keep doing what you're doing because let's just be honest, the team is not going to have a chance.
So you don't think there's
And
no
they-
keys for the
I don't
Cavaliers
think
to
there's
win?
just no keys.
Oh,
If
for the
you're-
Cavaliers,
If you're
this is
Tyronn
when-
Lue, what
if
do you
I'm-
tell your team?
What do I tell my team? I tell them to settle down and relax because here's the thing. The truth is you're the underdog. Nobody's giving you a chance to win, so you might as well just go in and try to ball out and dog out.
Every single
That's just
game,
what-
why not? You have nothing else to lose.
Every game, because you got nothing to lose. Because everybody already believes you're gonna lose.
Mike,
And then,
please,
then
Mike.
let me finish. Don't talk over me. Let me finish. So here's the thing. So you got to look at it like this. If you're LeBron, you're gonna have to guard KD. You have to. You can't leave him out by himself. If you're Kyrie, have fun trying to. There's a strap Steph, and
A healthy Steph.
a healthy Steph on top of that. And then for Kevin Love, well, I don't know who you gonna guard. Because the truth is that I think everybody can run circles around you. I think even the bench warmers can run circles around you because you just don't have that good lateral movement to do so. But I do give Kevin Love this. He can score, and really and truthfully, for the Cavs to even have a chance, LeBron's gonna have to drop 40, Kyrie's gonna have to drop 30, and Kevin's gonna have to at least drop 20, at least, every night. That's the only way they're gonna have a chance. But if that doesn't happen, I can't trust Tristan Thompson to really get me some boards. I can't trust it. I can't.
You can't trust
He's gonna get boards. If he doesn't do anything else, that's what he's gonna do.
He'll do boards. He'll get boards.
He doesn't do anything
that's
else.
The reason why he's paid $88 million.
He can he can defend. But
He can
that's
defend the pick and roll.
He's very good at pick and roll.
he's
I think
pretty good at that.
He's very good pick and roll defender. But I like to see what you do against a healthy Steph Curry. I like
That's
to see
what
what you
it
do.
is.
Go ahead,
And
Mike.
it's gonna be hard to keep up
And
with.
then J.R. Smith, you got to find out which J.R. Smith you're gonna get. That's the problem. See, J.R. Smith, he's hot and cold.
He gotta be off that Henny, man.
And that's the problem with J.R. Smith. You don't know which one you're gonna get. You're gonna get the J.R. Smith that'll bust like 5 threes in a game or 6 threes in a game, or you're gonna get the one who goes like 1 for 14,
That's real.
which I've seen that happen.
Of course, J.R. Smith.
And then on top of that, did we forget about Darren Williams?
Don't bring that bum in this conversation.
He gotta be such a bum. He was actually a star with the Jazz. Well, the key word being when he was with the Jazz.
Yeah, it's a system. He didn't understand that he was a system player.
Credit Jerry Sloan.
He's a system
Credit
player, and
Jerry
then
Sloan.
he got exposed, and he needs to calm down. That's why he's a bench player for an NBA Finals team. Go ahead, Mike, please.
Ugh.
I was gonna say this: LeBron and Kyrie, they gotta combine for 80 to beat this team. Like they really do.
A game.
Yeah, a game. Yeah, they both gotta get 40.
my
They both gotta get 40 every game, and it's not gonna happen.
Right.
Courtney saying, "Oh my goodness," and it's
It's true, and it's sad because it's true, and it's just you can have a 40.9 from both Kyrie and LeBron,
for 7 straight games.
but
And they could still lose.
they could still lose. There's just too many offensive threats on this Golden State Warriors team, and I just don't know how exactly the Cleveland Cavaliers are going to defend that every single night
Definitely.
and keep them from scoring 125 points a game. I don't know if that's going to happen.
It's not.
Mike.
Cleveland is deeper though. I will say that
Exactly,
they have
that's what I'm saying.
depth.
You know, Cleveland definitely got some assets that could help them this
They have
series.
depth, so it's gonna be interesting to see when both teams go to their bench.
And maybe we might see that little look. You know, when LeBron has that look in his eyes, he's going for blood. He might have that look every single night. He might have just listened to Draymond Green tell everybody on the nation that he wants to
did we just-
annihilate them. But I think he might be able to pull it off.
Did we just forget what Mr. T just said? This dude does not do well in revenge games, and I hate to
He
say
hasn't done well in a revenge situation. We haven't seen him in a situation like that since the Spurs. So
People could say that last
Maybe.
year's finals was a revenge series. People could say that. And no matter what it was, he did win 3, and he did pull off the 3.
Let's be hold up, but there was a reason why he won that. Let's be honest about it.
can't
He
just-
only won because of the fact that
You
he
don't
had
know
an
that.
unhealthy Steph Curry
We don't
with
know
a
that.
Draymond Green who was
we
suspended
had
in
an
Game
unhealthy Kyrie
5.
Irving.
What?
There was an unhealthy Kyrie Irving.
I think she said we.
I
think they're we.
Hold on, wait. Where was we at?
Uh-oh.
You're right.
Uh-oh.
Please
that,
rephrase.
That was the key for the Cavaliers. So basically, it was a weird summing up as prayer, hopeful KD, Clay, and Steph Curry are not going.
Look, honestly, they gonna have to be like. Look, as much as I love New England, they gonna have to be like New England. You need to start cheating. That's the only way you're gonna win.
I knew it. But yeah, that's the key to Cavaliers. I don't see anything else, Courtney. I just don't.
Nah.
Don't see nothing.
Warriors in
So
6.
it's just all right. Everybody, give your game. Let's just. You guys want to just do series predictions? I guess you've already done it. Everybody's just Warriors.
I'm not even wasting time.
I like to do the game 1 prediction. I like to give a score as well.
Okay, give me a game 1 prediction.
Golden State struggles in the beginning because of the fact that the layoff and the turnover prone in the first half. They end up getting the crowd, the Oracle Arena riles them up, gets them pumped up. I see Golden State beating Cleveland 125-101.
Who do you think in game 1's going to step up and say, I'm going to put this game on my back today? Anybody could do that for real, I guess. But who do you think does
I
that?
think Klay Thompson. think Klay Thompson.
Get out of here.
I
I
think-
would love to see that.
I would
think
love
Klay
to
Thompson-
see that,
I think
actually.
Klay Thompson drops 35, reminds everybody in the world that he's the top 10
You don't
player
think
in the
Kevin
NBA.
Durant game 1 gonna say, "Give me the ball"?
Oh no, I'm not saying. I'm just saying that Klay Thompson's gonna show. I think he has a better game out of all three of them. He's been there before. Kevin Durant's been 5 years since he's been in the finals.
He's never-
Little nervousness.
Oh, yeah, he
Steph
hasn't
Curry. Steph Curry's gonna probably push it a little bit. Klay Thompson's always that even kill guy.
All right, Mike, give me a game 1 prediction.
I got Golden State 114 to 98.
Wow.
That's kind of almost a blowout, almost.
It's a blowout. I think 15 or more is a blowout. To me.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is.
Shane, I already know you. I don't even want to ask you about a blowout.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be 116 to 100, and I feel like KD's gonna drop 40.
40.
He's gonna drop 40
Courtney.
because he has to set the tone. If he sets the tone for the rest of the series, it's a wrap.
What do you think, Courtney?
Courtney,
Is it my turn?
Oh, yeah, it's your turn.
I'd like to see this game 1. I'd like to think that the Cavaliers are on a conference finals high right now.
oh,
Oh,
boy.
beating the Boston
I'm not going to say.
the abysmal.
I think they're on. I think the Warriors have had some time to relax, time to chill, time to pump their heads up through the media, time to just relax. So I think that this could be a close game than what you guys think it is. I think we could at least see it go down the stretch to the end of the fourth quarter and for game 1.
So who do you have winning?
I do
Courtney?
have
Who do you have winning?
I do have Kevin Durant having the ball in the late game situation and closing the game out in the end. So I think we're going to see a high scoring, close, maybe like 117 or 110 game. Warriors take the first game, but I think it's going to be close. And we're going to see.
I can,
You know
what?
I knew
You
there
know,
was
the more, the more
you know what I just
it scares me.
realized? There was one thing we did not do before. Is it before today? We didn't drug test this woman because I really don't understand where she gets
I think
that
I've
from.
seen
Like,
LeBron in so many playoff final situations where he has had this eye of the tiger. We don't see it often in the regular season, but in the postseason we see it. We've seen it happen plenty of times.
He
So
can
I
have the eye of the tiger all he wants.
And so can Kyrie. And I think for the first couple of games, with all this adrenaline, all this, I'm ready to win. We might have a couple close games for the first couple.
All right, before we get off of the show real quick, I do agree with Courtney on one thing. I think the fact that being game 1, I also think the fact that it's not really the game 1's an easy game to steal. Reason why? Because
Yes.
both teams still. I always say game 1's always the fill-out game. You think that you know these two teams because of the fact that you guys played them the last finals twice, last two finals, but it's a fill-out game. So I do understand where Courtney gets the fact that it might be close, and I do see that.
I can
Courtney?
see that too.
Courtney,
I promise you next Friday, if we come in here and we're gonna have to talk about Cavs taking a game 1, I want everybody in this room to apologize.
Courtney,
to LeBron James.
Courtney,
He gotta apologize to me.
Courtney.
there ain't gonna be no apology.
If the Cavaliers don't win game 1,
It's over.
it's over.
It's over.
I think this might be the most pressure-packed game 1 in the NBA
It's
Finals
gonna be
history.
high energy, high.
If you
level,
can't
high
beat them
game
after
basketball.
8-game layoff, Mike, what are you gonna do?
There's nothing you can do. Like, really.
No.
Nothing. It's a done deal. I just think overall, Golden State has too much firepower. Cleveland, look, man.
What does the Warriors? You guys think the Warriors do in a away game situation? Same thing.
They always do. I think that you have to, when they go to game 3 in Cleveland, they're gonna have to be settled because Cleveland's gonna be rocking. You know, Cleveland's gonna be rocking. Their house is gonna be loud. They're gonna be ready to go. I think with Cleveland, you have to just do this. Just stay in the game. Fourth quarter, go ahead and win it. Can't let. I think what they did, but the problem was they did last year was game 3 and game 4 last year. They can't. Game 3 and game 5. Game 3, game 6. I apologize. They let Cleveland get too big of a lead, man, and then they want to start playing. No, from the early. And I think the best thing that happened to these Warriors were losing that 3-1 lead because now they have that sense of urgency. Like when we got you down, I'm gonna put my foot on your neck and I'm going to kill you. And I love it, man. I love it.
All right, well, there you have it, everybody. Game 1 will be on next Thursday, ABC at 7 p.m. So we will be with you next Friday to talk about Game 1 and everything else we have to talk about for you next week.
Definitely.
Definitely.
Alrighty.
Well,